There we go. There we go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. Gosh, I was excited that we had the White House fights on a Sunday because I was camping this weekend and obviously I wouldn't have been able to see it. So I at least got to watch some sort of sporting event last night. But now I'm regretting it because I stayed up way too late watching that damn thing because it got delayed. But they were fun. There were some fun fights out there. But good morning. We got to get into a lot happened over the weekend. We finished the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. We got some World Cup news to talk about. That's why Jamie's here joining us today, and Grass Guy's with me as well. No cricket until I think Wednesday, maybe. But yeah,
Yeah, I
we're
think
just
so.
gonna we're just gonna go with the flow and see where it takes us. But gentlemen, how are we doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Good, good. I am tired and itchy. Got so many damn bug bites, but I'm here. Made it.
Yeah,
We're
do
a
you
little
even have
late.
such a thing as too late when it comes to going to bed? Because I swear you run on fumes every night anyway.
I know, dude. I thought like, hey, like I got some decent sleep camping, but it's also you're outdoors camping, so it's like how good of sleep are you getting? But I thought last night I was like, yeah. I looked at my wife. I'm like, listen, I'm not staying up for this main event. I'll watch it tomorrow. I'm gonna go to bed. And she's like, oh, but I haven't had my tea yet. And I go, fine, I'll sit here and with you until you finish your nighttime tea. And the next thing you know, I stayed up and watched the whole damn fight.
All right, so
Once it
how bad is
starts,
it
you're not
now?
gonna you're not gonna turn it
How much
off
sleep
once
are
it
you running
starts.
on?
Huh?
How
What
much
was
sleep
that?
are you running on then?
Oh, last night, 4.5 hours.
Oh, that sounds like a good night by your standards.
Yeah, 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 yeah. At least it's not waking up in the middle of the night taking care of babies, you know, like it used to be.
Yeah, that sounds
Remember those
pretty
days?
tough.
I
I
do
remember
miss.
those
I
days.
kind I kind of miss those days though, because now they're a lot sassier than they were back then. You know. Yeah, steps. There's this thing like when you go out in the woods, you run into some bugs, and sometimes they bite you. Sometimes they bite you, and it's a pain. Dude, one night, the first night I was there, I even covered up and everything, but they started getting my like I had so many landed on the top of my freaking hands. And I looked down and I got like a bunch of like red dots. I'm like, oh, great, thanks. But it was fun. Little man had a good time. He built his first fire. We did a lot of firsts. Built his first fire. Went on his first motorcycle ride. My father-in-law has this little what is it? It's a postal or whatever it is. You know those old bikes that they used to like the mailman used to, or maybe still does, would ride around on. It's called a, what is it, postal? You know what I'm talking about, Grass Guy, right?
No, I don't. Sorry.
It's a little bit bigger than like a moped, but it's like a,
I've never
I
seen a mailman on one of those. No.
oh, well, okay. That's just what I was told, and I've seen it in movies and stuff
I
before.
believe
So
you. I just never heard of it.
yeah, so you got to ride on that. Caught his first fish, which was really exciting. Um, yeah,
That
it
picture
was
was
a good
awesome.
time. I
That was
really,
cool.
yeah, he had a blast. He loved it. I had a fun time being away from the internet. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet.
Just, I mean, I almost got through my book that I started out there. It was a good time. It was peaceful, quiet, but I'm glad to be back. Glad to be talking. So, even though it was bothering the hell out of me, I wanted to see that Knicks game, but said, we'll check it in the morning. But yeah, what do you guys want to get? You want to talk about the Stanley Cup last night? Want to start there?
Sure.
Did you watch any of it?
I watched all of it.
Oh,
Every second of it.
perfect. I had it on in the background, and I was, I was getting a bunch of stuff done last night. But I had some. But it was a big old no show for the Knights, man. It was kind of embarrassing on your home ice.
They're missing Carlson big time. When he went down, I think that was it because they were just a different team, without a doubt.
Yeah, you could tell too, because like Steps, I was listening to Steps' show yesterday, and he was asking Cricket, like, "Hey, Cricket, do we live bet them?" I'm like, they're down 1-0 after the first period. Do we live bet the Knights? I go, I know usually they come back in the second period, but this team doesn't look like they got it tonight.
Mm.
And then I remember that he was out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's probably it then, huh? That's probably it."
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was in the series before he got hurt. So yeah.
Well,
Now,
hey,
what is interesting is that earlier in the series, we were having crazy volatility, lots and lots of goals,
Yep.
especially that one of those games where you had like 3 goals in the space of a minute. But by game 6, I'd imagine the defenses would have felt each other out quite a fair bit at that stage. So you mightn't necessarily get quite the same degree of volatility. You've just seen it all before at that stage.
I just thought at home they would have mustered up enough in this game to come back and win this one,
Yeah.
and then I thought the Hurricanes would have win it back at
I was
home.
hoping for a game 7. Trust me. As a
Oh,
hockey fan, you always hope for a game 7. Always.
me too. But no, they just didn't have it last night, and you could kind of tell. And so congratulations to the Hurricanes, man. Their second title, first
Yep.
since 2006.
Yeah,
Yep.
and they had a
And,
pretty bad collapse against whoever it was last year, Florida Panthers, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. But hey, a Canadian team didn't win it, so that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
if they won it last year, that would probably have been the worst year for a Canadian team to win from your point of view, because it wouldn't just be a Canadian team winning. There would also be some big statement about how it's repudiating Trump or something like that.
You're probably right. Well, the coach for the Hurricanes, what's his name? Brindamore. He's one of the very few that has won a Stanley Cup as a player and a coach for the same team.
God, he always looks exactly the same. Every time they pan
Yeah.
to him at the beginning, he's in the same looking suit. He's got that little white slick part of his hair in the front, right? And he just always has the same face on.
Yep.
You know?
Kind of like your man Cignetti for Indiana.
Yes. Yes. Oh man. Yeah, well.
I
was
did
thinking
take
about it.
I took the under 5.5.
I was gonna say, what is this? The only game in this series to go under was
It
the
is the
final
only
one?
game. They opened it at 6.5 and dropped it to 5.5, and it had over 90% of the bets and 98% of the money. I'm like, this one has to go under. I'm thinking it's good, there's gonna be a lot of block shots, I'm guessing. And then we got into the third period with like 10 minutes to go. I'm like, Vegas isn't gonna score. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go live bet Carolina minus 2.5 because there's gonna be an empty netter. And I
Good
didn't think there was
morning.
gonna be, but we finally got one. So that
You
was
got
nice.
it. You did get it. Good morning, Anthony. What is that? Weeded Out LLC. I like it. I like it. You know nothing of Indiana. Good morning. Oliver Tree dead at 32. Yeah, man. There was a lot of deaths over the weekend. I was like, what the hell happened? I disconnect from society for 2 days and come back and Alden Smith is dead. That's crazy. Former defensive end for the Niners. Interesting stuff. But yeah, we'll put a bow on this. Stanley Cup Finals over, and so is the let's talk about that Knicks series real quick. But first, I gotta tell you guys about Rumble Wallet. It's been a few days. We hear a lot about crypto, but here's the part that most people miss. Crypto was created so you could actually own and control your money. After the 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of a bank holding your money, delaying transfers, or limiting access, you're in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you've felt that problem. Now, fast forward to today. Everyone's heard of crypto, but getting started still feels complicated. That's exactly why I use Rumble Wallet. It takes all the complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stablecoins, or even digital gold backed by real gold. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, or bank and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like us here at Game On directly. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Go download your Rumble Wallet today. Booyah. NBA Finals is over after the Knicks Saturday night handled business. Now, I did not see any of this, but I can talk about this series. Figured it was over after that historic collapse in game 4, where the Spurs were up 29 at one point and ended up losing, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But the Knicks get it, and it, God, this must have been, I'm kind of glad I missed it because it was an ugly game, 94-90. And once again, Spurs, I believe, were up 16 at one point in the second half and ended up losing this. I mean, they lost every game. Every game that they lost, they had a double-digit second half lead. Just this is a young team versus an older team. This is what the Knicks do too, which is impressive. All season long, they've had these crazy, like, they're the team that does not care if they're down. They just keep grinding back. They don't try to get it all back in one play. And then the downfall of the Spurs is this team just hucks up way too many threes, and they're not a good 3-point shooting team. Brunson joined Michael Jordan as the only player in a closeout game of the NBA Finals to score 45 or more points. That was pretty cool. He is your Finals MVP. Glad I sold out of my Anunoby position.
Yeah.
Cricket and Steps were all like, yo, you got to hang on to that. He's got a real shot. And I'm like, dude, I bought this at 4%, and now it's up to 30. I'm good. I'll take my money. I'm out.
Yeah, you don't go broke taking profits.
Exactly, Jamie. Exactly. I don't even know why I'm going to ask this, but you guys see any of this game?
I caught the tail end of it, and I remember looking and thinking to myself, "Oh man, it's happening again." 4 games out of 5, the Spurs giving up big leads. At that stage, you wonder if it's not merely a matter of the technical skill between the teams; it's a matter of just mentality and experience, especially with there being such a big difference in experience between the two teams.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Jamie. Definitely.
Also, Knicks just kind of felt like the team that it was just destined. They were a hot team. Obviously, had won 13 in a row at some point in these playoffs, but they just felt destined in this series. Steph says, my coworker said, who's reading that ad? Sounds like a good ad reader. I've had some practice with that one, but thank you. I appreciate it. I've read it a couple times. I'm on. Good morning, Ms. Leslie. Good morning, Rach. How we doing?
It's also a big win for the Knicks due to how they had gone out the previous year.
Yeah,
it was a great choke-a-thon against
you know
the
what?
Pacers.
I said it. I said at the beginning of this series, or actually all playoffs long. It is very rare that your first time with the Spurs, this is their first time with this core group. I mean, they hadn't been to the playoffs in the past 7 years. It's really rare that you come into the playoffs and you go through and win the whole thing on your first go. It's just not how the NBA works. Doesn't matter how talented you are. You have to get your ass kicked at some point, and then you come back with a vengeance, just like the Knicks did last year. You know, they had a good run, but then they got their ass kicked. Learned from it, regrouped. All the rumors about Giannis going there and whatnot. It was a chaotic season for them. Ultimately didn't make that trade and just went back with their core group that they had, and they got it done. It's like trying to master a video game the first time you play it. It's rare that you're actually able to do that. And so watch out, because the Spurs could be right back here next year and could be winning this whole thing. Now, unfortunate for them, they do have to go through the West, and there is a team that's a little upset and probably going to be a lot healthier next year than they were this year when they faced them in the OKC in the Thunder, who still were the best team all season. Spurs got them in that one, but what a hell of a run. And also shout out to, I am so impressed. I was, like I said, I didn't see the game. I was just looking at the box score, but the MVP for the Spurs in this series was Dylan Harper, a rookie. He was the most reliable, played damn near perfect basketball when he was in there. Anytime they needed a bucket, he got it for them. And look at this. As a rookie in a closeout game, trying to make this historic comeback, played 31 minutes, 25 points, 10 of 19 shooting. Just incredible.
I did watch a little bit here and there. That kid is good.
He's going to be really good.
He seemed very composed out there. Like he was under control of what he was doing. Like he looked really good, without a doubt.
Yeah. Give him 2, maybe 3 more years to like grow and get into his peak form. Think of like Shea, right? Shea when he was first out there versus what he is now, right? Let him grow up a little bit. The sky's the limit for Dylan Harper. I would, especially if, I mean, imagine if he stays on this path and stays with the Spurs. I know the Spurs have a lot of young talent here, but as long as you have Wemby and Harper, that's going to be a problem for years to come.
Agreed.
Yeah,
especially
only
if
22 as well.
Yeah, especially if he ends up being their reliable shooter. I mean, if the Spurs had someone that they like at this point, it would be like a Steph Curry on their team that didn't have to play a whole lot, but just came in for some 3-point shooting, or like Ray Allen, or just one guy that they could count on to dish it out to when they need a three. They would have won this series. Hell, they probably should have won this series already. But yeah, once the Spurs address the shooting issue, or Wemby decides to just play like a big man and stay inside more often, the Spurs are going to be a problem.
Yeah. There's one thing I'd like to call out about the Knicks, though, and that's that at their very lowest, they were trading at 1.9 cents on Polymarket to win the NBA championships back on the 25th of April after they went 2-1 down to, I think, the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have got 50-1 on your money if you took them at that point.
Yep. I kept thinking, I ended up buying just a little small position on the Knicks at that point, or right around that point, just because I was looking. I'm like, I thought they could get out of the East, and I ended up selling it when they were going to get out of the East because it was a nice little profit. But I thought the Thunder were going to come out of the West, and there was no shot the Knicks were going to beat the Thunder. And then after I sold it, and I was like, but you know what? If they match up against the Spurs, I think it's just a matchup issue. And I'm like, I probably should have hung on to that a little bit longer, but I just really didn't believe in the Knicks because the Knicks always do this. Like, they never win it, they never win it until now. And they finally did it. So congratulations to the Knicks and Knicks fans. And you didn't destroy the city too bad. And, I think you only had like 60 people arrested that night. So that's pretty good.
That's good.
I think only one guy died. So how someone dies celebrating a win, I don't get it.
Sometimes it happens. Yeah, I can remember when South Korea reached the semifinals of the World Cup the year they were hosting with Japan. They had 2 fans get heart attacks that night, I believe it was.
Jeez.
And that's South Korea, so it's not exactly like it was a population that had particularly many underlying health issues.
Right.
Yeah. What was I going to say? They're probably glad that this series ended in San Antonio. Could you imagine what it would have been like if it was in New York?
I could have swore they were going to hold on to that lead and then they would win it at the Garden with all the celebrities and all that shit. I really thought that's the way it was going to go.
I don't know how I feel about I know that like Ben Stiller has been like he's a huge Knicks fan. He's there for every playoff game, home or away. Like I know he's a diehard, and it actually is.
John McEnroe's another one. He's always there.
Yeah.
Gary David is
I don't know.
well.
I don't know how I feel about them taking a photo with the trophy, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's kind of that's the players earn that.
The trophies for the players, really.
Yeah,
and like sometimes, like something like a head of state or something like that. But at a certain point, it's like it's not about you; it's about the players.
Not in New York, it isn't. It's always about them, Jamie. Always, trust me.
Like I was surprised at just how many famous people it turns out were Knicks fans. Like Taylor Swift's a Knicks fan, apparently.
No, she's not. Fuck her.
No, she's not. No.
She's a piece of shit. No.
They even had Sydney Sweeney out there in that last game. No, they're just bandwagon fans.
I paid her to show up there.
Dude, I was listening while I was getting set up here this morning. I was listening to that San Antonio sports show that I listen to every day, and one of the hosts said his buddy that he knows ended up selling his tickets to a famous celebrity for Game 5. He wouldn't say who it was, of course, but he said
Of course.
he made $32,000. And he was like, listen, if it was game 1 or 2, you don't sell your tickets to game 1 or 2. He goes, but at this point, I don't blame you for selling your tickets when it looked like, we were done. So go get your money. I mean, 32,000. How could you say no to that?
Mm-hmm.
He said celebs don't pay for tickets. They're giving them for free. What BS? Maybe some of them, but those celebs, a lot of them do pay it because it's like nothing to them.
It's like $80,000. Like they probably have more in their car ashtray.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Must be nice. We also had an event last night that I stayed up way too late watching, and that was the UFC White House event. We started late because I was reading up on an article about the fight and whatnot. But every fight on the card, which shouldn't be too surprising because, to be honest, we had one upset and that was the main event, but it was very, very mismatched. Most of the fights there was a huge favorite. The one that wasn't was the heavyweight interim title fight, which was the co-main. That one was the only one that was 50-50 odds. That one was a good fight too. But check this out. This was just sweet to start off the night. I mean, when I heard that their plan for this thing at the White House and they were only going to have a select few people in there and you had to buy your way in there. So there's some people spending $1 million to get into this exclusive club right here. I was like, that's kind of dumb. I thought this was supposed to be for the people. But if you looked over by the Lincoln Memorial or whatever, is it Washington Memorial, Lincoln Monument, whatever it is, that whole strip, they had a whole big event out there for other people watching this on a big like jumbo screen. It was pretty cool, but this was how they opened up the night with a little flyover, which is pretty sweet. That was sweet. I liked how they had live music for the walkouts. So they had a live band there that would play, whatever song they were playing. That was cool. I liked how they walked out with some service member, like honoring a service member each time. Uh, it was, I believe this is what happened. I think it was really cool watching them warm up in the White House and then get a walk out from the White House and then pause at the top of the stairs and walk down the stairs. It was really cool looking. But it seemed like every night they got further and further back, and then by the time we got to the main event, Gaethje and Topuria actually walked out from the Oval Office. They started in the Oval Office, and then the camera and them just walked all the way through the White House out to the stage. It was pretty cool to see. Apparently, Dana White said that was a fun event, but never again will we do that at the White House. I don't know. Did you guys see any of this? Any of the fights?
No, none of it.
Not a second of it.
Yeah. Let's see. What did Dana White said? He said UFC at White House a success, but never again. Says Dana White. He made one thing clear: he's never doing this again. He goes, "I can't afford it. I'll never do the Sphere again, and we'll never do this again." And that makes sense because, like, the Sphere, they lost their ass on. I'm pretty sure they lost their ass on this event too. Because I mean, a lot of the ways they make money is at the gate, and hell, I heard that it costs the UFC $1 million just to fix the White House lawn after this is over. And they were just putting stuff on top of the lawn. They weren't digging anything up or anything like that. But yeah, just for landscaping, it was going to cost $1 million, which is crazy. But it was a pretty cool thing to see. Let's see. It cost them $60 million to produce this thing.
Cost us $60 million.
No, this was the UFC paid it.
Okay.
They paid it. But no, it was just one of those cool things. And I know that everything has to be political, and some people didn't like that this event was going on, but I was like, at least there was a purpose for it, right? Yes, it was on the president's birthday, but at least they had a theme. Like it was the 250. We're about to have our 250th birthday for the nation, and they honored people for it, and it was just a cool thing. I wouldn't want this to happen like yearly or probably ever again, but it was just something fun to see. And they did a really good job, better than I expected with the production, which I shouldn't be surprised though. The UFC always does put on really, really good events. But it's on Paramount Plus, so you can go back and watch all those fights, which is kind of cool about it being on Paramount Plus now. But yeah, we had let's see. We'll just run through the card real quick. The main event, your new lightweight champion is Justin Gaethje. He defeated Ilya Topuria, who was undefeated, and this was a brawl. They had to stop the fight after the fourth. They almost stopped it after the third, but Gaethje was just out there in that first round, just throwing. He came out looking great, and then by the end of the round, he was just throwing things, hoping something would connect. And Topuria was the more polished. He was not backing down, and his were actually landing. And I think sometime in the second round, he ended up landing because he was destroying Gaethje his with body shots, and then he dropped Gaethje with a liver shot. And I thought it was going to be over there. And I mean, it was a bad one. But Gaethje, this son of a bitch, this is what he does. He takes an ass beating early on, and then he dares you to try to stand with him in the third, fourth, and fifth round, those championship rounds. And by the end of the third round, Topuria, I'm not going to show it because it's pretty gross and bloody, but he couldn't see out of his right eye, and they had to call a doctor in, and his corner was trying to get him to end the fight. It was kind of shady. The doctor was like, "No, he's good," and you looked at him and were like, "No, he's not. His corner's asking you to call this." But Topuria did not want to stop the fight, and so ultimately it was his decision. Which I'm kind of like, well, he's the fighter. As long as it's not like where the guy is clearly out of it, he still seems to be there mentally. Then yeah, let him go. But ultimately they did have to stop it, and it was just a brawl. And Gaethje finally climbs that mountain. He has had the title before, but it was always he had the interim belt and he had the BMF belt, but he's never been the outright champion. And he finally did it at 37 years old. He was the oldest champion at the lightweight division, and he gets it done. We had an interim heavyweight championship, and Cyril Gane just beat the shit out of Alex Pereira. It was kind of tough because Pereira was the 185-pound champ, the light heavyweight champ, and now he was trying to become the heavyweight champ, and there was just too big of a size difference. Cyril Gane is just a monster. So now he gets to go fight Aspinall, and I believe it was Gane who fought Aspinall last year for the belt, but they had that eye pokage, which Aspinall still is recovering from. So it was a no contest. Sean O'Malley looked really good out there. He ended up knocking out his guy. Just caught him perfectly. You guys will like this. Sean O'Malley did like a little 1-2. He connected and stunned the guy, and then as the guy was falling, came over the top with a right, landed it right on the side of the face, and you could tell that like that guy was gonna. He wasn't knocked out cold, but he was stunned and was not gonna get up. And before the guy's body hit the canvas, Sean O'Malley just stands up and salutes him as the ref is like stopping the fight. So as the guy's hitting the ground, Sean O'Malley just stops and salutes. It was pretty cool. Very cocky, but cool. Josh Hokett gets it done. This guy is going to be a star. He's like he's a trash talker like Chael Sonnen and oh god, what's his name? Covington. But he ended up beating Derek Lewis, and after the fight, he had an announcement to make. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but he grabs the mic from Joe Rogan and says, Michelle Obama is a man, right, America?
Oh, God.
And then walks it
Wow.
off.
Somebody had to do some shit like that, right?
Oh yeah, he's definitely playing his caricature, his little bit. Mauricio Ruffy was just too big for Michael. Oh, first of all, Michael Chandler's just, you can tell he's just too old now. But Ruffy got it done, knocked him out. That one was brutal. Bo Nickel, this was kind of cool. These guys wrestled in college, and now they got to fight in the UFC. But Bo Nickel gets a win there, and then we started the night off Diego Lopez getting a knockout over Steve Garcia. It was a good card. Like I said, every fight ended up in a knockout, which we've never seen before. And I think it was a success. Buku says, great UFC, 7 fights and 7 finishes. That's right. Tapiria got his face rearranged. He sure did. The live music was sick. Yeah, I thought the live music was really cool. Way to do it. Really cool. I thought it would have been funny if they were going to have like the live band play like Disturbed or something like that as someone walked out. That would have been funny to see them try to do that. But yeah, now you know what we have left. We have baseball. We still have golf, which we have a major coming up, and we have the World Cup. Jamie, how's the World Cup going?
It's got off to a decent enough start. First game was between Mexico and South Africa, and the quality of football displayed there was not great at all. South Africa just did not turn up whatsoever. But the story of that game was not 1, not 2, but 3 red cards. 2 for South Africa, who were down at 9 men at one stage, and then Mexico just got a man needlessly sent off. So by the start of the game, it was 22 players, only 19 were on the pitch at the end. Pretty handy 2-0 win for Mexico there in the end. The game after was South Korea against the Czech Republic. That was a very boring, tedious game in the first half, but exploded to life in the second half. And that's something you do tend to see at the World Cup. It's what I kind of refer to as like medium higher entropy games, where the game can be just trundling along, nothing happening, and then it just explodes into life later on. That was a typical example of that. So that was your opening day.
Yeah. And then hold on real quick. No Skin says, don't forget we have NASCAR too, Will. You're right.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence, and nobody can hang with my stuff. I'm just a big, hairy American winning machine.
That's right. Let's talk about the big match. United States 4-1. I didn't get to see it, but tell me about this one, because I know the odds were, I think the favorite was that this would end in a tie, or someone's going to win 2-1. But a 4-1 victory seems pretty dominant and a good opening game by the United States.
Yes, indeed. And it wasn't as if it were a case that the USA took all their chances, whereas Paraguay were missing some. From start to finish, the USA were pretty strong, pretty dominant. And what stood out to me was that they were very coherent in attack. Whenever a player would receive the ball, you just instantly see the next player ready to receive it. I would say that their attacking performance was more coherent than anything I've seen from England under Gareth Southgate in the years that he was there. They were just much more on it. And that's not saying nothing, because in international football, you often have players who play in very different club environments and often have overlapping roles on different teams. So the attack doesn't always necessarily look so good. Sometimes it's just very slow and they kind of grind out goals. That's not what the USA were doing. They made Paraguay uncomfortable from very early in the game. They got an early lead, and by halftime it was 3-0. And at that stage, it was very difficult to come back from. Pochettino's work is paying off from what I'm seeing, because he's experimented a lot with different lineups. He's got criticism for experimenting around with a lot of lineups that didn't seem to be working. But first game, it was high intensity and they made it work. in the futures markets, that's where we're seeing the most interesting changes for the USA.
Let me guess. The us Americans are overreacting to one dominant win, and we're all piling in on the United States because that's what we do.
Oh, no. Like I'd say certainly there are a fair few recreational batters piling in, but I'm seeing a pretty big move when it comes to the USA's odds of even just winning the next game. It's either against Australia. Yeah, I think it's against Australia.
Oh, we're gonna kick those Aussies' asses. Now, how much of this match do you think home field helped us? Do you think it played a factor at all? Because this was in, I believe it was at SoFi Stadium in LA.
Yeah, generally, home advantage is worth about 0.3 to 0.5 goals. Kind of depending on the circumstance. It can be higher when you have things like a climate mismatch or altitude, like Mexico have. But generally, you'd expect the USA to be about 0.3 of a goal better than Paraguay relative to had this been a neutral ground. What I noticed about the atmosphere is that it was a very positive atmosphere. It didn't really have an edge. Like if this were in Turkey, for example, like there'd be a really big kind of hostile edge to it. Whereas this is the kind of atmosphere was more of a like, we're here, we're really excited about the event, and we want the team to do well. And that kind of does help, because one of the peculiar things about the USA in football is that they're never really expected to do too much, so they tend not to choke under pressure. And I didn't see any signs that they were nervous on the big occasion.
Yeah, and I bet it probably helped too that we're in our home country. They're not really changing time zones, so that's not a factor. I know these guys have plenty of time to adjust, but just being used to LA, the weather, the air, everything there. I bet there was a little bit of comfort for this United States team. Not saying that it was discomfort for Paraguay, but I think that helps, at least for game one. But yeah, okay. Over Grass, have you watched any of these matches?
I have not.
Okay.
Not yet.
Me neither. So Jamie's going to fill us. Oh my God, Germany. What was, I guess, from Saturday and Sunday, what was the was there any shocking? Was there an upset? Was there just a team that did not show up or perform well? Or what was the most impressive thing you saw? And it might just be this Germany match right here or whatnot. But to give us kind of a little overview of what's happened over the first weekend.
All right. Yeah, I'll start with Germany. Like, that looks like it was an absolute leathering, but the scoreline made it look worse than it was. Germany is a team where they've got a very systematic way of playing, where if they get enough of a talent edge over you, they'll just ruthlessly exploit it again and again and again and again. Bayern Munich do that a lot at a club level. But what I noticed was that Germany were still leaving a lot of gaps in midfield, and Curacao were putting some attacks together. They even got a goal. So it didn't really cost Germany there. They covered the spread easily. That would have been a value bet. But I would still have concerns about Germany against stronger teams that are able to control midfield better and modulate the pace of the game. So that's that one. There haven't been any outright upsets so far. But one of the things I like to look at is when a team puts in such and such a performance, it's going to affect the futures to an extent, because obviously you're more likely to win the group if you've got 3 points than if you've got 0 after your first game. But when the market then looks at the next game, which is to all intents and purposes an independent event, and it significantly changes the money line probabilities, that normally means that the market has seen a significant overperformance or underperformance. And we saw a significant overperformance from Morocco, who drew 1-1 with Brazil. Brazil looked kind of incoherent in the first half. They were giving the ball away sloppily, and Morocco were pressing really high up the pitch, and they got a goal on the break that just cut through the Brazilian defense. So first blood to Morocco. As the game went on, Ancelotti made adjustments for Brazil. They got more midfield control. They equalized, and then towards the end of the game, both teams kind of just settled for the draw. But Morocco, the big questions going into this
Do you
game.
think they kind of played a little lackadaisical against them?
A little bit, yeah. The big concern for Brazil is that they don't really have many water carriers, and their right back Wesley got injured in the pre-tournament friendlies, and instead of replacing him with an attacking right back, Ancelotti brought an extra midfielder because he basically realized during the pre-tournament friendlies, oh shit, we can't just go to midfield. We're going to need 3 in midfield if we want to have any kind of consistent control over games. So they still look a little bit lopsided, but Ancelotti is still extremely responsive coach. So I'd expect whatever he saw in this first game to be nowhere near the final end product that you see at Brazil. 4 years ago, Argentina, they lost the first game, still won it. Spain 2010 lost the first game to Switzerland, still won it. But I didn't really see much of a change in how the betting markets are pricing Brazil. Like they've gone down a little bit, but not that much. But Morocco, their game against Scotland, I saw a pretty significant jump in their odds to beat them. Because we all knew that Morocco were a very good defensive side. They were good at keeping it tight, playing on the break. But their new manager, who came in after they temporarily lost the AFCON and then got rewarded it or re-awarded it on an administrative decision. It was a bit of a controversy at the time. Their new manager is very attack-minded. He won the Under-20 World Cup with them. And what stood out for Morocco was Bouadi midfield. He's only a teenager, but he played with the poise of a midfielder in his late 20s. They had a coherent press. They were able to modulate the pace of the game as well. So going from pressing high up the pitch, but also being able to just step back, absorb pressure, and then try and hit Brazil in the break. So I think Morocco are going to give a lot of teams a lot of difficulty in the knockout stages, and I wouldn't be surprised if they reach another semi-final.
Let me just update the odds real quick. This is over on Kalshi. Obviously, everywhere is going to have their own odds and whatnot, but they should be pretty similar. But over on Kalshi, you're just men's World Cup winner, outright winner. Spain is the favorite currently at 17.1%, followed by France at 16.3% and Portugal at 11.6%. I'll throw in England in there because they're in double digits. They're 10.3%. So that's interesting. We'll keep an eye on that as the tournament keeps going on. Jimmy, what right now, and I know this is just one exchange, but just for the outright winner market on Kalshi, there's $282 million already in this pool. How high do you think that gets by the time we get to
fucking crazy?
How high do you think that gets? Do you think we get to $500 million on this by the time the finals show up?
On Kalshi, I wouldn't be surprised by that. Let me see what we have on Polymarket. On Polymarket, we actually have over 2 billion in volume at the moment. And the thing is, this is
what Kalshi.
Like this is only 2 prediction markets. Like the volume that's going to be going on international bookmakers like BetOnline and Pinnacle, that's going to be enormous. And that's before you get into domestic bookmakers, because there's like enormous betting volume in both Ireland and England.
Yeah, like where you're at, I'm sure this is just heaven for all the bookies around where you're at and whatnot.
What the bookies like is when favorites underperform and kind of the unfancied long shot underdogs do well, because that's normally when they don't have to pay out anywhere near as much as they would have to. Bookies over here are used to accepting very lopsided action.
Yeah. No Skin wants to know who's the sleeper in this, and it doesn't have to be like a long shot underdog. By the way, I should say the USA, 3.4% chance to win according to this market. But who would? You could pick any team. Doesn't matter if they're one of the top favorites. Who at this point would you consider as a sleeper to win this thing?
At the moment, I'd have to say Morocco. Based upon what I saw, because the things that are most predictive of going far in the tournament, it's high talent, game state management, that is to say, being able to raise and lower the temperature of the game as needed, not being too passive, not being too emotional. And God, what was the other one? Yeah, generally a very strong defensive core and a little bit of divergent talent. And Morocco have all of those. Now they're
Yeah,
only
you can
being,
get
I
them
think,
at
8 World Cup winners.
2.4%, so like 45 to 1-ish for
Yeah,
Morocco right now.
yeah. So I actually do like that. As I said before, my concern with the USA is I'm not quite convinced that they're able to manage games down the stretch. They do have some defensive hiccups. But Morocco right now look very solid. Out of the teams that we haven't seen so far, Norway are a dark horse, but kind of everyone knows about them, and there are one or two concerns about their squad. I have some futures on Japan, but I'm not really sure if they're going to come true because they have a ridiculous injury list right now. Like one of their star players, Mitoma, is going to miss the entire tournament.
So would you say Morocco's probably the best value because you could actually see a path where they make the semis, and if you bought in now, you would at least be able to cash out?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
I just bought
A
in.
couple of other teams I'm
I
looking
just bought
for.
in now.
Let's go.
Yeah, they're a really tough team. A couple of other teams that haven't played yet that I'm potentially looking at are Colombia. They got to the Copa America final, lost to Argentina, but they haven't been as good since. Another one looking at is Uruguay, who I don't think will win it. They're managed by an absolute madman called Marcelo Bielsa. He's an Argentine, and his brand of football is just insane. It's just constant pressing, constant vertical passing. He's influenced a lot of modern managers of the game, and he doesn't really do well in league formats, but short-term tournament formats he tends to do well. And Uruguay is a country which traditionally tends to overperform at the World Cup. They only have a few million people, but they do very well. One that I really like at the moment is Ivory Coast. They got a late 1-0 win over Ecuador there last night, and they have some really big talent in the team. And they're currently at 0.6 cent to win the World Cup.
Okay. Today we have 4 matches today. I'm gonna run through the odds just real quick. Spain taking on Cape Verde. Spain.
Yeah, I have some questions about this, definitely.
Well, let me run through the odds and then we can ask those questions. Spain minus 1,400 today. Whew. Belgium and Egypt. This has actually been playing up in Seattle at Lumen Field. That's crazy. I didn't realize that Seattle was going to host some of these. It would have been fun to go over to one of those, but I bet it would be insane to even try to get in there. But Belgium and Egypt, Belgium minus 170, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay, Uruguay minus 220, and then Iran and New Zealand, Iran minus 115. Go ahead, ask your questions, Grass.
For some reason, they don't. For some reason on here, I'm showing the same team playing twice. Now, they don't play 2 games today, right?
No,
you wouldn't do any repeats like that.
Because I'm
What's
seeing
the
Cape
average-
Verde and Spain at 12 p.m. and then I'm also seeing them again at 6 p.m. and the lines are completely different.
Your 6 p.m. should be the Saudi Arabia Uruguay.
All right, well, they kind of screwed this up. Does Cape Verde have any chance against Spain at all?
I haven't really looked too deep into Cape Verde. From what I've heard, they're actually a decent enough team. But I would potentially see a bit of value in them on the Asian handicap. Spain going into this are favored by 3 goals. And
that's
in
it.
the last tournament, Spain were actually very good in the last tournament. They overperformed their XG, and they took about 2/3 of their shots from outside the box. So those shots they're hard to hit in, but if you get them, they're like they can really change a game. But my concern about Spain is more on attack because they don't have the most attacking depth. Their star player at the moment is Lamine Yamal of Barcelona. And they also tend to play Nico Williams from the Basque regions up as a wing forward as well. And those were their 2 main creators of danger during the last Euros. But both of them have had some injury issues there. Yamal in particular is only just fit again for this game. I'm not sure if either of them are going to start, to be honest. But that's where I would see a source of concern for Spain. Like once you get beyond them, you get into the risk of being possession dominant, but not really particularly doing much with it. I know certainly that was Robert Barnes' concern with them before the last Euros because they're their only real striker was Alvaro Morata, and he wasn't really the same physical shape he used to be by then. I'm not even sure if Morata is fit for this tournament. So I'm not going to commit to a play right now, but I think there may be some value in the plus 2.5, plus 3.5 spread there.
The reason why I'm asking is I'm looking at the line for this, and Cape Verde opened at plus 2,200, and they came down 300 to plus 1,900, and there's 7% of the tickets and 79% of the money. So there's 72% sharp action on them on the money line. That's why I was asking.
79% of the money on Cape Verde money line.
Yeah, looking at it right now.
And which source are you getting that one from?
This is player props. I'm looking.
Props.
I'm pretty sure I can share the screen. I can show you. That's all it has is a money line. There's no goal line, and that's it. All I have is money lines on all of them.
Yeah, like the reason that I'd be skeptical of that split is because in football, your big tournament favorites tend to attract really lopsided action. So I'd be surprised if Capo Verde are getting any more than 5% of the or 10% of the total money, given the enormous disparity of money line.
That's what I.
You know what team I'm most interested in that's got my attention is this Germany team. This German team is very interesting to me. Very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
How could they not be interesting?
I know those are 6 German bombers right there.
Yes.
Yeah, bombs away indeed.
You think that guy in the corner there is taking a picture of them without them knowing?
I think that guy was thinking these tickets were worth every penny.
Yeah.
Like
unfortunately,
Germany,
the game's not played behind them.
I've been to Germany a few times, and it's definitely a country where there is a lot beneath the surface. On the outside, they tend to be very rule orientated, but my God, they know how to party, especially in Berlin.
Well, you know what? I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I think I need to go get some firsthand experience, just for research purposes.
Of course.
My buddy,
I think there was an NFL game in Berlin last year.
Crazy.
So, you got if they have it again this year, then you've got a legitimate reason to go over for research purposes only.
Yes, of course. Research purposes. Okay. You said your buddy partied over there or would play in a band over there?
He was in a hardcore band for a while, and they actually got to tour over there for a little bit. He said it was amazing. Yeah, he brought his fiance at the time, and after the show, like all the people, obviously, a lot of the guys didn't speak English that were like the roadies and, the people that controlled all the bands and all that stuff. And afterwards, they were walking in. This big German guy. He's like 7 foot tall with a clipboard, and they were walking in like to go, shower up and all that stuff. And the guy walked up to him and goes, "How many girls you want in the shower with you?" And he was just kidding. He was like, 7. And they started bringing him in. He's like, no, I got a fiance. Like they do that kind of shit over there. Like they just bring girls in to shower with the guys after the concerts and shit. And yeah, he said it was fucking nuts over there.
That's
They
awesome.
enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah.
That is awesome. C-Ray says the cameraman had one job at the USA game. Find as many celebrities as possible. It was kind of gross to watch for someone who just wanted to watch the game. I mean, you can't be surprised. It's America. That's what we do. I mean, yeah. Well, interesting. We got some.
That reminds me, actually, with it being America. I know this is looking ahead a month, but the World Cup final apparently is going to have a halftime show.
Oh God! Of course we are. Is that uncommon for the World Cup?
Oh God, you wouldn't have that at all in the regular game, because European sports in general tend to be much more based around the continuous clock. The crowd tends to kind of ebb and flow with the atmosphere. So there's only one break, and that's halftime. And even when it goes to like extra time and penalties, you tend not to have ad breaks during them, not even then. So there has been a little bit of controversy about some broadcasters having ad breaks during the water breaks. I know our national broadcaster had an ad break during the water break of the first game between Mexico and South Africa, and a lot of people were like, "What are you doing?" And then they got rid of it because there have been cases where broadcasters have put on an ad during the water break, and some of the game was missed towards the tail end of the ad. So
Yeah.
you definitely get a bit of that. But
So
I don't really
Go
mind
ahead.
the idea of a halftime show for the World Cup final in the USA, because I kind of just have an attitude of, why did Rome do as the Romans? Because it's not like you're going to be having a halftime shows in the Champions League final or anything like that.
Well, if the World Cup Finals wants to one up the Super Bowl halftime show, all they got to do is bring in Creed. Just give the people what they want. All right. So it looks like most teams get about close to a week off between matches at this point. Is that pretty common? I know the United States played last Friday. They're not playing again until this Friday. It seems like about a week, though. We don't get teams that have already played a match. We don't get their second match until starting Thursday. Is it 5 to 7 days the usual?
For this tournament, yes, it is.
Okay.
It's also the end of a long season, so those games still it's going to be tougher playing that amount of games than if you had done it in, let's say, January.
Yeah.
Though compared to the normal season, for an elite team that's competing in Europe and domestic competitions, for all the season you'd actually be playing twice a week.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very interesting. Well, at least we have something else to talk about other than baseball,
Yeah.
going forward
Yeah.
now that the NBA and NHL are done. Any last takeaways from what you're seeing so far, or what you're looking out for this coming week?
All right. All right. So one game I'm still paying a lot of attention to is Croatia against England. That's one where I haven't fully made up my mind on it because England is a team that traditionally has struggled because they don't really have a unified identity. You tend to have a lot of players who overlap in the roles they play for their respective clubs, but they don't really get a cohesive system out of it at an international level. England have made a bit of a change because they've hired Thomas Tuchel, who won the Champions League with Chelsea. He's a German manager. So it's a little bit of a first for England hiring a German. But he generally did gel well with England with the English press when he was a manager at Chelsea, and the players do seem to like him. They've been very defensively solid under him. They didn't concede a single goal in qualifying. But the criticism that can be leveled at Thomas Tuchel teams is that against defensive teams that are able to keep it tight, they can often look a bit toothless. And that would have been the case even in the Champions League. So against Croatia, I'm either going to go for England to win or the game to be a draw. My main concern about Croatia is that they had elite game state management. That was one of the reasons they overperformed for years. But the problem is that they don't have the same legs in midfield they used to. Like Luka Modric is in his 40s now. And in the last Euros, we saw that they were conceding more last-minute goals, which was uncharacteristic for them. In previous tournaments, they were much better at preventing that from happening. But there is one bet I like for that right now, and that's no on both teams to score. I got that somewhere around even money.
Okay.
Because it's one of those games where I can very easily see it being a shutout. Where one team managed to get a goal, probably England, and they just managed to prevent either team from scoring because both of them have potential offensive issues, and England have just looked really, really solid. My concern with England would definitely be in the knockout stages because that's where you do need to have your talent taking risks, but for now, they're probably going to be fine.
Okay. Well, there you have it. That's our little World Cup recap and preview of what's coming up. Jimmy, you're welcome to come on all week long anytime you want and talk these out with us, since you have,
of course, for sure,
great knowledge of this. But yeah, World Cup, we got 4 matches today, bunch all week long. It's going to be fun. Gonna be fun. Grass, how old is Carolina's head coach? Do you
That's
know?
a great question.
Let me see.
Shit, he played for the Flyers in the 90s, I think. So I mean, he's got to be around, at least around my age. He's got to be in his.
Dude, he was born in 1970. So what is he? He's about to be he'll
He's
in August
56.
turn 56. Check this out. This is how he looks at 56 years old.
Oh yeah, no, that dude's ripped.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I got 20 years to get into that kind of shape, so I'm good. Slow and steady, baby.
I bet you that's what Ghost looks like with his shirt off.
Probably.
Guy's a
Probably.
fucking monster.
But good for him, though, you know? Good for him.
Mhm.
Especially after being a former athlete. Like, it's really easy to just let yourself go after you're finally done, you know?
There are some guys that do that. They don't care anymore. Other guys will keep themselves not in game shape, but they'll keep themselves in shape.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, just some pictures from the camping trip. We're out in the woods.
Please show the one you sent me. That was great.
I will. He had this little rock house thing that was right by us. But yeah, his first time out there, he was having a blast. He built his first fire. He was really proud of himself. And caught his first fish.
That's not the picture you sent me. Where is it?
Oh, the one with the beer?
Yeah.
I didn't want to put that one on the internet just because I know there would be people.
Yeah, you're probably right.
It's
a great picture, though.
Take the joke. But my father-in-law was like, "Oh, wait, hold on, Ace." After I took this picture, and he handed him my Coors Light, and so he's holding a beer and holding the fish up.
Great.
Well, it's Coors
Yeah,
Light.
you're right.
Would
Some
you even
people
get
don't
drunk off that.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically
that was
water.
coming.
You know, it's basically. But yeah, there's that. That was our little spot. They had a bunch of these. It was really cool. They had a bunch of these. Obviously, clearly designed. They some loggers ended up putting a bunch of logs like over the creek at a bunch of different points, so you could kind of like sit there. And right down underneath here, there was a nice little spot to catch these little fish. A nice little hole.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it was funny as I didn't think that like where we were camping there was any good spots for fish because it seemed too shallow. So we drove up the road and honestly it was terrible everywhere. And then we get back and I just started walking around and we found this spot and I was like, well, let's just throw something in and see. The best spot to fish was right behind us the whole time. We didn't even need to go looking.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good trip. Fun to get away. Get out there. I told my wife though, next time, get this. So obviously we're camping and it's you want to have chips in the morning while you're waiting for breakfast, go ahead. You know, those kind of rules. Like we just
there's no rules going camping.
Ate what we wanted, when we wanted, all that kind of stuff within reason. But I got him a bag of the Doritos ranch. His mom, we don't usually let them have those that too, or the kids have them that often, just because usually they eat those and they end up acting like demons later. But we were camping, so I said screw it. So he got to eat his blue chips, is what he calls them, blue chips.
Chips, nice.
So I was talking with my father-in-law. I'm like, this is a lot of fun. I go, but you know what? My wife, she's an outdoors woman and she loves just camping and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? Because they want to, we're going to go again this summer, but we're going to bring Cal this time too. So we're going to bring both boys. And I was talking to my father-in-law. I'm like, you know what? My wife needs a break, like just to get out here away from everything and whatnot. I go, you know what? How about next time when you take both boys, she comes with you. I'll stay back and I'll watch the girls and whatnot, so she can come out and enjoy this. And so I told Ace, I go, hey Ace, what if next time we go camping this summer, it's you, Cal, and Pop, but instead of me, Mom comes. Mom's a really good camper, bud, and it would be a lot of fun. And he just looks at me, and usually he you say anything that he wants to do, and he's like, yeah, that sounds awesome, right? But he looks at me and he kind of like goes, oh. I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, oh, but Mom won't let me eat the blue chips.
Asking the really important questions. Life or death when you're 4 years old, is it?
I was like, oh,
age.
buddy. I think Mom would bend the rules. She knows the camping rules. I think she'd let you have a couple blue chips. I thought that was so funny. That's what he was thinking of.
That's what he was focused on.
It's the great outdoors as well. So if there's ever a time for a bit of hyperactive energy, it's then.
Oh yeah, dude. Saturday, him and I, sun up to sundown, dude, just nonstop. We were out there doing stuff. He loved playing in the creek, and he loved the water. He's a kid that like freaks out when he spills water on his shirt, thinks it's the end of the world, and he has to go change his shirt. But out there, he was covered in mud, did not care at all. And it was exhausting, but a lot of fun on Saturday. But yeah, she won't let me have the blue chips, Dad.
That's awesome.
Kids, dude, they're hilarious. What else? What else we got going on? You guys eyeing anything for what we got? What is it? Is it the U.S. Open? No, not the U.S. Open.
Yes. You talking about for golf?
Is it? Yeah.
Yes, U.S. Open.
It is the U.S. Open. Ooh, so we only have two left: U.S. Open and then the Open next month. Ooh,
formerly known as the British Open.
It's still the British. I mean, I'm gonna call it the British Open when it comes around. But yeah, so we'll be looking forward to that golf tournament this weekend. Wednesday we'll probably cover some odds. I'll see if I can find some bets that I like for the U.S. Open. This is traditionally, I believe, the one where Bryson ends up doing pretty well because it's a longer course. Because I think he's won this one twice. This is the only major he's won, and he's done it twice. JJ Spawn is your defending champ. What else we got going on? Have you guys kept up on baseball at all? I have not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been keeping up with the baseball.
Fill me in. What's going on in baseball?
Looking over the lines now.
To the All-Star break, right? Or are we like a month away?
Yeah, still about a month
usually
away,
mid-July.
So.
Yeah.
God, yeah, I would have been there last Wednesday, but I was on the wrong side of an absolutely hideous choke from the Washington Nationals against.
Oh, don't bring that up.
Giants.
Was that the one when they were up 9-1?
It was
ruined my parlay.
None other, yes, 9-1.
And wasn't it like a grand slam or something that walk off
grand slam?
Walk-off grand slam, yeah. Like I remember seeing their relief pitcher in the ninth inning. He goes up to 0-2, and then he throws 4 balls that are all nowhere near the zone. And I think to myself, Houston, we got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nationals take him straight off after, and they get another guy in, and that's when the grand slam was hit.
God. And then the Rockies won.
Absolutely sickening bet.
Dude, the Rockies won yesterday 23-9.
Yep.
Oh my
14
God.
and a half was a total.
Oh my God. Listen, I know it's different for parlays, but if you're ever up 9-1 in a game and you're on a betting exchange and you don't cash out, that's on you. That's on you, because crazy stuff like that happens all the time in baseball. But obviously it's different if you have a parlay.
The deeper question though is the possibility of that being fairly priced. Like I generally tend not to cash out late on because either you tend to pay fees if you just decide to exit at market, or sometimes the price might just smash through your sell order.
I gotta think
simple.
I gotta think at 9-1, and if you're just using Kalshi, where usually the games don't go down to the 10th decimal spot, like so you can only get 100 to 1 on it if you wanted to take the other side. I gotta think coming back down 9-1 has to be longer odds than 100 to 1.
Probably. Here was my problem why I couldn't cash out with that. I had another game in that because it was a 4-game parlay. The other 2 were already finished, and I won them. And then we had that one, but I also had the Padres who were still playing, and they were down a run. So I wasn't really getting a cash out. So I'm looking at it. They come back and win it in the bottom of the 9th with a walk-off homer. I'm like, this is fucking great. And I go to look for my payout. I'm like, why isn't this paying me out? And then Ghost texts me, did you see the implosion by the Nationals? I'm like, what? And then I go back and look. I'm like, they were up 9-1. What the fuck are you talking about? And that's why I couldn't cash out, because I didn't have any value in it because I was still waiting for the Padres game.
Spring says Will told me he doesn't wipe his butt after he takes a dump. Not out in the woods, man. That's nature, baby. Nature. Just go stick your butt in the creek, like a bidet. Nature's bidet out there. Here we are with the standings. We won't go through yesterday's games, but we can just kind of take a look at where we're at. What are we at? Third of the way through the season? A little bit more than the third,
roughly. Yeah.
What is that? That's 70 games. So no, we're getting close to halfway through. Okay, 70 games in. Right now,
that's what I don't understand either. Real quick, Will, why is it in hockey and baseball they don't have their All-Star break until well after half the season? There's usually almost 90-something games played, if not more, by the time they take it. Like, isn't it supposed to be halfway?
I kind of think as a player, I think I would like that a little bit more. You get a majority of the season done, then you get a little breather, and then you just focus up for 2 months to make your playoff push. NBA is the same way. NBA is the same way. I think 60% is a good mark. I don't have a problem with it, especially since they keep it consistent. It's around the same time every year. So, because then after you come back from the All-Star break, then we start seeing who's going to focus up and get hot. Because you got the rest of July, you got all of August, and part of September to make that playoff push. So you get a good 6-7 week stretch of meaningful baseball.
Well,
whereas if it was like 2.5 months of meaningful like that, it just feels like that would be a long stretch. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's not, at least we got some things to look forward to. You got the All-Star break in about a month. A month after that, Little League World Series, and then a couple weeks after that, football starts.
God, I can't wait for football to start.
Yeah,
actually,
you know what? For this year, I can wait. I'm okay with it.
The only reason why I can wait is because when football season starts, it's the new school year, and little man is going to school for the first time, and I'm not ready for that.
Nice.
So,
you're not ready for that.
I'm not ready for it. No, man, it's my little guy. Growing up, going to kindergarten.
Okay.
Not ready. I think I have a bunch of vacation time at work. I think like I haven't decided which week it's going to be, but I'm going to take like a week off when the NFL starts and just enjoy it, create a bunch of content.
Not a bad idea.
I'm going to go to that opening game in Seattle. I was hoping that that weekend, so the Seattle game's on a Wednesday. I was hoping that Saturday the Cougs played at home because I'm like, oh, that'd be fun. Go to the Seahawks game, then go to the Coug game a few days later. But they don't play until the following Saturday, of course, because they're a bunch of bums.
No, of course.
Damn Cougs.
Yeah, I got.
But either way,
update there today that it's 75 days until the opener of the college football season over here in Dublin.
Oh yeah, and that weird first weekend thing. They need to get rid of that. That week 0. Can we just have week 1? Can we just all start?
That is
stupid. Rebranded as week.
That is stupid.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Here's where we stand.
I'm
though.
Still technically in the draw for a chance to meet Bill Belichick, or shall we say Bill Bangachik.
Yeah. Hey, if you end up winning that, you better record it or something, or have a cameraman there with you, or someone hold your phone, record it. That'd be good content to meet Bill.
Yeah.
And if you don't win it, I can impersonate Bill for you, and we can come on here.
But of course, everybody wins that way.
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy. we're on to Cincinnati. They gave me peanuts on the flight here. Didn't really like them. Weren't salty enough.
Here we go. Bill
Here's
Belichick,
where
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Here's where we stand. The Yankees and Rays. Yankees leading the East. Rays 1 game behind them. It's not impossible for another team to come back, but I mean the Blue Jays, who damn near won the World Series last year, 10 games back. It's looking pretty bleak for them. So it looks like it's a 2-horse race in that one. In the Central, yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. The Chicago White Sox are tied in first with the Guardians. How crazy is that? You got Minnesota, who's 6.5 games back. They're still in the mix. And then in the West, we got the Mariners, 1 game up on the A's and the Rangers. That division, the A's and Rangers are keeping it interesting. And even the Astros, who have had such a terrible start to the season. But this is typically the time of the year where the Astros make their push. I don't think it's this year, though. This team sucks compared to those previous years. But the West is wide open still. Even the Angels are only 7.5 games back.
That tells you how bad that division is.
Yeah, when the leader's only 1 game over 500.
Mm-hmm.
The National League, the Braves, they're the hottest team so far this year. Yeah, they have the most wins. They're 46-25. They got an 8-game lead over the Phillies. In the Central, you got the Brewers, 5-game lead on the Cardinals there. Cubbies, 7.5 games back. And then in the West, of course, the Dodgers in the lead, 7 games up on the Padres and 8.5 games on the Diamondbacks. Can we just say that the West is done? Right?
Pretty much, I guess. There is a lot of baseball left, but you're probably right.
I mean, even if Shohei went down for a month, this team is so loaded, it doesn't matter. I know. Although he had a great last month of pitching, though.
I don't know. I'm tired of the Dodgers.
I'm glad we have the Dodgers because I love a villain to root for, or to root against in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
In the playoffs,
no triples.
Yeah, they're going no triples, baby. They're going for their 3-peat. Oh boy,
yeah, that's crazy.
What was last time we saw that? Was the 90s? A 3-peat?
When was the last time we saw that? I don't even think the Yankees did it because I think they won 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 or something like that, and they didn't have 3 in a row.
I think the Yankees have done it before.
Yeah, 98,
well, they
99,
have, but
98, 99, 2000.
That's right. Oh, it was 3 in a row. That's right.
Oh my God, I didn't know
the Athletics did it back in the 70s.
I was about to say I didn't realize the A's did it in the 70s. That's crazy.
Yeah, the A's were tough back then.
And the Yankees won 5 in a row back in the late 40s, early 50s.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Yogi Berra has 10 or 11 World Series rings, some shit like that.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy. Well, gentlemen, thanks for joining me today. I think we're going to put a bow in it right there. Grass, you join me tomorrow?
I am. I actually have a show set up for after this, so I'm going to hop over to that.
Let me raid you then.
Yeah.
I'm going to raid you.
I'm taking over for Cricket this week to do some morning lines real quick. Nothing crazy. Just put out the morning lines, and then I'll do my show again at 5 o'clock, and we'll go back and look at them. But I figured I just read them out. This way people got something to look at during the day while they're working or doing whatever.
Heck yeah. I do think I want to start something new on this channel, and I'm not going to tell Kirk about it. I'm just going to do it, and then he's going to have to adjust. But I think I want to start the show off at some point, like especially now since we basically have football and soccer left, baseball and soccer left. I think I want to start the show just reading the lines of the day, just kind of run through them, and then as we go through the show, we could talk about betting angles or something we see, but just like, hey, here's the lay of the land, a quick little update, who's playing today, and here are their odds. Not really break down the games, but just kind of give the odds, and then go from there.
Okay.
I don't know. I was thinking. While I was out in the woods, I was pondering ideas for the show.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna hop over there and get that ready.
All right, buddy. Thanks for joining me this morning.
Yep, I'll
fun.
join you tomorrow.
Heck yeah, we're headed your way. We are headed your way. Jamie, what you got going the rest of the day?
A few bits and pieces. Make sure that the cat hasn't managed to get at his tail. And we'll be following the World Cup at least a little bit. This is a bit of a quiet game or quiet day because not all the games are quite so good. But the weekend seems to be when you get a lot of the better games.
It's crazy that you're what? So the first game for me today starts at 9 a.m., which is awesome. Which is what? Was that 4 in the afternoon for you?
You are 8 hours behind me, so 9 for you would be 5 for me. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, like I don't watch the late games. I just look at the score the next morning. But I normally would stay up after midnight to catch the end of a game.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy. That would suck for people over where you're at, over in Europe and whatnot. Like most of these games are in the like what 2 a.m. Like some of the big games, some of the night games.
Yeah, they do tend to schedule it so that people aren't totally out of whack.
Okay.
Like this wouldn't be the USA's first rodeo. 94 would have been. So there's normally some kind of compromise to ensure that people can watch it, because if eyes aren't on it, then that's generally FIFA doesn't like that. The really late games tend to be more so. They don't really involve European teams quite so much.
No, yeah. Like today they got Spain starting first, so that makes sense. And then Belgium and Egypt. Even then, that would be starting at 8 p.m. your time. Or the time zone over there. And then the late night game, no one cares, especially here in the US. No one cares about Iran. So they're like, yeah, just throw them at the 6 p.m. start.
Yeah, I'm taking that one as a draw. I would not be surprised if it's just 90 minutes of all fart and no shit. It's that kind of a matchup.
Yeah, could you imagine staying up or at least taking a nap and getting up at like 2 a.m. to watch your team in the World Cup, and then it's just a freaking boring ass game.
Yeah, and if the matchup involves Switzerland at all, then it's probably not going to be very exciting. Though with that, Switzerland did concede a late goal to Qatar, a team they were widely expected to beat, but they just didn't take their chances and they came out of it with a draw.
It happens. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
What do you think our shots are on Friday?
Against Australia, I'm going to have to do a bit more of a deep dive on Australia, just to kind of see where they're at right now. But the impression I got was that against Turkey, Turkey tend to have a much more volatile style of playing, and Australia basically just absorbed a load of pressure and then hit them with their weak points. I would still favor the USA for this one. Because they do have a very coherent attack now at this stage. I'd say they would be able to like get the passing triangles going that would unlock a team like Australia. But my concern would be like down the stretch late in the game, would they be able to just see that lead out? But for now, I would take a USA money line. I think they're in the early 60s now.
Yeah, they're minus 165. Listen, we can't lose to a country that lost a war against birds. All right, that would be embarrassing. They're still losing the war against birds, Australia. I mean, what are they doing down there? We can't let that happen. No.
Yeah, well, you know how it is about the birds. It's like they're everywhere.
What is it? Emus that they can't beat? Something like that. I don't know. I got so many things down there that want to try to kick your ass or kill you. So
yeah,
you think that would toughen them up? Maybe it makes them weaker because they just hide inside all the time.
Australia, it's still a pretty hardcore kind of country. Like they've got one hell of a drinking culture, and they have a very lackadaisical attitude of yeah, sure, we're surrounded by poisonous spiders and everything, and anything and anything will kill you, but it's no big deal.
Yeah. Apparently they have a drinking there. It's very expensive. I met some Aussies when I was up in Canada, and I was bitching and complaining about the Canadian prices because they have a heavy sin tax. And these
fucking hell, sin taxes.
Yeah, and then these Aussies were there, and they're like, "This is great. This is like half the price of what we have to pay." And I'm like,
Oh,
"Really?" And I'm like, "Jesus, dude. Okay, well, you guys enjoy your super overpriced shitty beer."
Yeah, like I don't know how much it costs compared to over here. I know a lot of Irish people do go to Australia because of how crap the housing situation is over here.
Mhm.
But I know that our drinks are expensive because everything's expensive over here. It wouldn't really be drinks particularly that are particularly bad for it. Though it's still very expensive relative to mainland Europe, where like in Spain you can go and get a glass of wine for like a few euros. Over here you'd pay like 6-7 euros for the privilege.
I got a gas station that will give me 12 16-ounce Coors Lights for $13. Pretty good deal.
16 ounce. I'm trying to convert. Is that like a pint?
Yeah, it's a pint.
So
We call them
12
tall boys or pounders here.
Right, yeah. So
Because your
12
standard
or
your
13.
standard over here is a 12-ounce can. I like the taller ones, the 16-ounce.
Yeah. We wouldn't have them that cheap over here, but then again, no one's buying Coors over here.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's why it's cheap. Because it's Coors Light.
Yeah, it does the job. Yeah,
Like
like I never really quite
$60
got the
a
thing with
case in Australia.
light
Oh.
beer. Like whenever I've been over in the USA, like my brother, he's a publican over there, or okay, not a publican, but he would work in the bar industry, and I can remember we're over in New Orleans, and his combo of choice was a shot of Jameson and a Miller Lite, and I remember thinking to myself, when did you pick up drinking light beer? Because I never remember him drinking light beer at home.
That's awesome. That's a good combo. The Jameson and the light beer. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm thirsty now. Anyways, thanks for joining me today, Jamie. Just let me know whenever you want to hop on. I'll shoot you the link.
Yeah,
If you
for
got
sure.
any time
This week might be a bit busy, but I might be around on Sunday.
Perfect. We'll be here on Sunday. We'll be here every day. Thanks for hanging out with us. Chat. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. It was good to be back, and we'll do another fun show tomorrow, Grass and I, and then Crick will be back Wednesday with us, and we'll just keep chugging right along. But until next time,
Good luck.
good gambling and game on.